to say a few words. Thanks, Timmy. On behalf of my siblings, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's so wonderful to have so many family members and friends together again, albeit not under the best of circumstances, and many of us haven't seen each other for quite a long time too, so it's wonderful to see everyone. I think we all agree this is the end of an era for the Shea and Coates families. As most of you know, Gloria was the last of 8 Shea kids and the last of the greatest generation of both families. Similar to Michelle and Paul, I want to address each of my siblings, and as they mentioned, each of us is so different and so unique and so special to her in their own way. Our family is not one to fawn over each other, but we love each other, and we know that, and we know that at least one of us will always be there when needed. It was very easy to venture out into the world to a place like Hong Kong, always knowing that I had such a solid foundation here back home and could come home at any time. Our mom epitomized this in the manner that her compliments were rare. Love was shown through actions, not words. I want to start with Mark. Mark, you may have been the most distant at times, but she was so proud of your accomplishments. As Paul mentioned, she often spoke fondly of her special relationship with you as a young boy, her first boy. She beamed with pride when we used to talk about your successes as an athlete. You know, when you go to sporting events, many mothers, they only see their own child, but Gloria was different. She watched games with an expert eye, always recognizing and giving credit to any athlete that actually deserved it. When she talked about what a beautiful hockey player Ricky Mahar was, we all thought he was a beautiful hockey player too. But Mark, she felt the exact same way about you. She just wanted to keep you humble. In fact, you were her pride and joy. She loved watching you play hockey the way you played, your passion, your intensity, your spirit, but she didn't like it when you spent so much time in the box, which was a lot. I think Mark had the best combination of skill and dirtiness. She and the Bear, they eagerly traveled to your games, whether it was in junior and college, and both were so immensely proud of you. You were loved so dearly by them. I guess my wish, looking back, is I wish they had been more explicit in showing that love and pride that they had in you. And Mark, as young boys, you were our hero. We idolized you, and your parents did as well too. Peter and Paul, Tex and Legs. Good twin, bad twin. I can't speak about one without the other. There was nothing that made her happier when the two of you were with her together, gossiping about the family, eating snacks, watching sports on TV, or debating Coke versus Pepsi. She loved the banter over Peter's parsimonious nature, his frugality, or as the Bear would say, his chiseler qualities. Tex, she loved when you visited her, cooked dinner, and just chatted for hours with her. Legs, over the last decade, your extended visits, taking her to see Dad during his last days in the hospital, and being with her so often afterwards for those long stays, it gave her so much to look forward to. But you did spoil her, and you set the bar very high when I got home. Thankfully, you were there with her, Legs, when she took her last breath, which we all appreciate because she wasn't alone. Whenever I checked in on her from Hong Kong, she was always so happy when one or both of you were there. Gloria loved and adored her twins. Timmy. Mom always said you were the Bears' golden child. But you were hers too. She never held back when sharing the challenges of having 6 boys. But it was different with you. She often said, and I quote, "Timmy never did anything wrong." And we all know that was mostly true. No one has a kinder soul than Timmy. She loved your gentle nature, as do we all. She also enjoyed to take the piss out of him. She would say, quote, "He's so smart and so well read, but he's just so dozy." We called you the absent-minded professor. She would just roll her eyes or shake her head and laugh. Timmy, you and Diane saved her during COVID. Your nightly visits helped her deal with the loneliness, and she would not, as Michelle said, have survived without the two of you. Her only complaint was that you talked too much during Notre Dame football games. She also loved how you seemed to know everyone and everything in Belleville, and looked forward to getting the latest gossip. Timmy, her feelings toward you are consistent with all of us. Admiration, love, humor, respect, and adoration. She loved your company, and her love for you was immeasurable. Tommy talks. Unlike Timmy, Tommy, you made them earn their pay. Compliance did not come easily to Tommy. The bear used to say, and I quote, "Why are the smart ones such a pain in the ass?" But Mom always quietly defended you. She knew you would do anything for anyone. And I quote, "He's grumpy to me sometimes, but he does have a heart of gold." For the last 2 decades, you and Amanda did everything for her. Your daily visits, preparing meals, doing her shopping, fixing things in the apartment, getting her TV and internet sorted, and giving her a stern talking to when she got stubborn and needed it. She would always say to me, "Tommy is very bossy, but I don't know what I would do without him. I couldn't survive without him." She loved you so much, Tommy, and appreciated everything you did for her. She was right, Tommy. You do have a heart of gold, and you would do anything for any of us. Lastly, Michelle, her only daughter, and our precious sister. You were her saving grace in a world of men. Her confidant, her best friend, her manager, her informant, her everything. She would send me WhatsApp messages saying, "I'm so excited, Michelle's coming tomorrow." Or, "I can't wait, Michelle is coming for 3 days this week." It gave us all so much peace of mind being away, knowing how happy and content she was when you were there with her. As teenagers, we told her as little as possible because it only got us into trouble. But you always shared everything with her, and we thought you were nuts. I'm really proud of our family and how the way everyone really stepped up later in life as our parents aged. But Michelle, you were always there for her. Even when we were teenagers and young adults exploring the world and doing crazy things, you always found time for her and Dad. I think this is most telling, Michelle. When your 2 daughters interviewed her a couple of years ago, I thought this quite interesting. They asked her, what are you most thankful for in your life? And she said 2 things. One was, and you think of the generation she's from, that she was thankful we didn't have to experience a war. because with 6 boys, she knows she probably would have lost one, if not all. But the second thing that she said was, Michelle, she was most thankful for you. You were as close to the perfect daughter and sister one could ask, and now you're an incredible mom and grandmother. Mom loved and depended on you so much and appreciated everything you did for her. I think I can safely say on behalf of all the boys, we're so fortunate to have you as our new matriarch. Yeah. Every family has its own unique personality and identity, and I think the culture of the Coates family could best be described as this unique fusion of religion, sports, education, and recreational drinking and partying. We worked very hard and we played even harder, and I think that's the Coates work hard, shave, play hard combination. Church every Sunday, non-negotiable, no matter how hungover you were as a teenager. As a result, the latest Mass, the 12:15 Mass, was the usual choice, followed by bacon and eggs before the first NFL game of the day. If you were away at a hockey tournament, your first task was to find the nearest Catholic church, get to Mass, and Gloria expected to see that church bulletin when you got home. This is true. Unfortunately, she stopped going to Mass during COVID, but made the TV version her ritual every day, and we all know she was a creature of habit. But Mass was her warm-up before each full day of watching sports on TV. Our mom loved watching sports, especially football, golf, baseball, and hockey. As Paul said, she loved Tiger Woods until his marital troubles. She was a Bucks and Lightning fan during the Florida years, and I knew she was a closet fan, but she never admitted that she was a closet Leafs fan. During the days of the Kid and the Hawk and the Rock, she was a huge Expos fan, often listening to Dave and Duke for hours in the evening on the front porch at the cottage, even scoring some games play by play. When I'd ask her if any of the boys were coming over to watch the Notre Dame football game, she would say, "I hope not. They talk too much and I can't follow the game." She knew the value of a stout offensive line, back-checking in hockey, and the importance of getting the bunt down to move the runners over. We were fans of the National League, obviously. She also knew that Saturday at the Masters was moving day, and she did not like Coach Brian Kelly. She would regularly watch all 4 rounds of a golf tournament, start to finish, especially the majors, and she loved the Ryder Cup. Some of my best times with her were at Christmas, when for 2 weeks straight, we would watch endless NHL hockey, the World Juniors, and all the college football games. One time, while watching the college football playoffs, she turned excitedly and said to me, "What do people do who don't watch sports?" Gloria called it as she see it, and she sometimes had no filter, but she did have a very pragmatic approach to motherhood. She always believed she was preparing us for the challenges of life, especially through the platforms of school and sports. If you played a bad game, whatever the sport, she would tell you. But when you got a compliment for her, it was rare, but boy, did it mean a lot. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I'm thankful now for the thick skin we developed, especially after for me personally, working for 30 years with kids and their doting parents. School was an expectation. We were all going to university if we wanted to or not. She managed our house with precision, household chores for everyone, numbered underwear. And better be sure to make your bed every morning. We all learned how to cook, to sew, do laundry, ironing. She taught us to be independent and self-sufficient. Those skills became second nature each summer when she and the bear moved to the cottage. 80 Golfdale became epic. some of the best times of our lives. She often made fun of Peter for being frugal, but Tex, you came by it naturally. She controlled all of the money, and the bear had to ask for spending money. We all had paper routes and summer jobs, and she had us buying savings bonds as teenagers, and we even paid our own tuition to go to Nicholson. One funny anecdote, before Andrew and Mary T's weddings, we had to buy Dad a new suit. She claimed it was too expensive because after the weddings, he would likely only wear it again at his funeral. Even during his wake, she was standing by his coffin chirping about how expensive it was. Which leads me to close by highlighting her relationship with the bear. They were a true couple, sharing everything for 64 years. After he passed in 2016, she never got over it, still mourning right to the end. She often told us that she was ready to go. She needed to be with him again. Last Christmas, again, while we were watching sports on TV together, just out of the blue, she turned to me, and with a tear in her eye, she just said, "I still miss Dad so much." She wanted to go. She was ready to go, and she wanted to be with him. And she prayed to go quickly and peacefully, so I think those morning masses paid off. Losing your mom, even at 96, is never easy. It leaves a chasm in your heart that can never be repaired. But when I look around this room, I see she still lives in all of her children, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren through all those important life lessons that she taught us. We are sad. We miss her. But we have so much to be thankful for. Such a long and productive life, very well lived. She left us peacefully, and she's now finally reunited with our dad. We miss you already, Mom. Say hi to the bear. Love your baby.
Okay, so that concludes the speeches. Again, we want to thank you for being here, and we ask that you continue to keep both our parents and all the faithful departed in your prayers. Safe travels home.